Genesis chapter 24. And Abraham is old, he has entered into days, and Yahweh has blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham says to his servant, the eldest of his house, who is ruling over all that he has, Please put your hand under my thigh, and I cause you to swear by Yahweh, God of the heavens and God of the earth, that you do not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanite, in the midst of whom I am dwelling, but to my land and to my family go, and have taken a wife for my son, for Isaac. And the servant says to him, It may be that the woman is not willing to come after me to this land. Do I at all cause your son to return to the land from where you came out? And Abraham says to him, Take heed to yourself, lest you cause my son to return there. Yahweh, God of the heavens, who has taken me from the house of my father and from the land of my birth, and who has spoken to me, and who has sworn to me, saying, To your seed I give this land. He sends his messenger before you, and you have taken a wife for my son from there. And if the woman is not willing to come after you, then you have been acquitted from this my oath. Only you do not cause my son to return there. And the servant puts his hand under the thigh of Abraham his lord, and swears to him concerning this matter. And the servant takes 10 camels of the camels of his lord, and goes, also of all the goods of his lord in his hand, and he rises and goes to Aram-Naharaim, to the city of Nahor. And he causes the camels to kneel at the outside of the city, at the well of water at evening, at the time of the coming out of the women who draw water. And he says, Yahweh, God of my lord Abraham, Please cause to meet before me this day, and do kindness with my lord Abraham. Behold, I am standing by the fountain of water, and daughters of the men of the city are coming out to draw water. And it has been the young person to whom I say, Please incline your pitcher, and I drink. And she has said, Drink, and I also water your camels. Her whom you have decided for your servant, for Isaac, and by it I know that you have done kindness with my lord. And it comes to pass, before he has finished speaking, that behold, Rebekah, who was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, wife of Nahor, brother of Abraham, is coming out, and her pitcher on her shoulder. And the young person is of very good appearance, a virgin, and a man has not known her. And she goes down to the fountain and fills her pitcher and comes up. And the servant runs to meet her and says, Please, let me swallow a little water from your pitcher. And she says, Drink, my lord. And she hurries and lets down her pitcher on her hand and gives him drink. And she finishes giving him drink and says, Also for your camels I draw until they have finished drinking. And she hurries and empties her pitcher into the drinking-trough and runs again to the well to draw, and draws for all his camels. And the man, wondering at her, remains silent, to know whether Yahweh has made his way prosperous or not. And it comes to pass, when the camels have finished drinking, that the man takes a golden ring, whose weight is a bekah, and 2 bracelets for her hands, whose weight is 10 bekahs of gold, and says, Whose daughter are you? Please declare to me, is the house of your father a place for us to lodge in? And she says to him, I am daughter of Bethuel, son of Milcah, whom she has borne to Nahor. She also says to him, Both straw and provender are abundant with us, and a place to lodge in. And the man bows and pays respect to Yahweh, and says, Blessed is Yahweh, God of my lord Abraham, who has not left off his kindness and his truth with my lord. I, being in the way, Yahweh has led me to the house of my lord's brothers. And the young person runs and declares to the house of her mother according to these words. And Rebekah has a brother, and his name is Laban. And Laban runs to the man who is outside, to the fountain. Indeed, it comes to pass, when he sees the ring and the bracelets on the hands of his sister, and when he hears the words of his sister Rebekah saying, Thus has the man spoken to me, that he comes to the man, and behold, he is standing by the camels by the fountain. And he says, Come in, O blessed one of Yahweh. Why do you stand outside? And I have prepared the house and place for the camels. And he brings in the man into the house, and looses the camels, and gives straw and provender for the camels, and water to wash his feet, and the feet of the men who are with him, and sets before him to eat. But he says, I do not eat until I have spoken my word. And he says, Speak. And he says, I am Abraham's servant, and Yahweh has blessed my Lord exceedingly, and he is great. And he gives to him flock and herd and silver and gold, and menservants and maidservants, and camels and donkeys. And Sarah, my Lord's wife, bears a son to my Lord after she has been aged, and he gives to him all that he has. And my Lord causes me to swear, saying, You do not take a wife to my son from the daughters of a Canaanite, in whose land I am dwelling. If not, to the house of my father you go, and to my family, and you have taken a wife for my son. And I say to my Lord, It may be, the woman does not come after me. And he says to me, Yahweh, before whom I have habitually walked, sends his messenger with you, and has prospered your way, and you have taken a wife for my son from my family, and from the house of my father. Then you are acquitted from my oath when you come to my family, and if they do not give one to you, then you have been acquitted of my oath. And I come to the fountain today, and I say, Yahweh, God of my Lord Abraham, now, if you are making prosperous my way in which I am going, behold, I am standing by the fountain of water. Then the virgin is coming out to draw, and I have said to her, Please, let me drink a little water from your pitcher. And she has said to me, Both drink, and I also draw for your camels. She is the woman whom Yahweh has decided for my Lord's son. Before I finish speaking to my heart, then behold, Rebekah is coming out, and her pitcher is on her shoulder. And she goes down to the fountain and draws. And I say to her, Please, let me drink. And she hurries and lets down her pitcher from off her and says, Drink, and I also water your camels. And I drink, and she has also watered the camels. And I ask her and say, Whose daughter are you? And she says, Daughter of Bethuel, son of Nahor, whom Milcah has borne to him. And I put the ring on her nose and the bracelets on her hands, and I bow and pay respect before Yahweh. And I bless Yahweh, God of my Lord Abraham, who has led me in the true way to receive the daughter of my Lord's brother for his son. And now, if you are dealing kindly and truly with my Lord, declare to me, and if not, declare to me, and I turn to the right or to the left. And Laban answers, Bethuel also, and they say, The thing has gone out from Yahweh. We are not able to speak to you, bad or good. Behold, Rebekah is before you. Take and go, and she is a wife to your Lord's son, as Yahweh has spoken. And it comes to pass, when the servant of Abraham has heard their words, that he bows himself toward the earth before Yahweh. And the servant takes out vessels of silver and vessels of gold and garments, and gives to Rebekah. Precious things also he has given to her brother and to her mother. And they eat and drink, he and the men who are with him, and lodge all night. And they rise in the morning, and he says, Send me to my Lord. And her brother says, her mother also, Let the young person abide with us a week or 10 days. Afterward she goes. And when he says to them, Do not delay me, seeing Yahweh has prospered my way, send me away, and I go to my Lord. And they say, Let us call for the young person, and inquire of her mouth. And they call for Rebekah, and say to her, Do you go with this man? And she says, I go. And they send away their sister Rebekah and her nurse, and Abraham's servant and his men. And they bless Rebekah, and say to her, You are our sister, become thousands of myriads, and your seed possesses the gate of those hating it. And Rebekah and her young women arise, and ride on the camels, and go after the man. And the servant takes Rebekah and goes. And Isaac has come in from the entrance of the well of the living one, my beholder. And he is dwelling in the land of the south. And Isaac goes out to meditate in the field, at the turning of the evening. And he lifts up his eyes and looks, and behold, camels are coming. And Rebekah lifts up her eyes and sees Isaac, and comes down off the camel. And she says to the servant, Who is this man who is walking in the field to meet us? And the servant says, "It is my Lord." And she takes the veil and covers herself. And the servant recounts to Isaac all the things that he has done. And Isaac brings her into the tent of his mother Sarah, and he takes Rebekah, and she becomes his wife, and he loves her. And Isaac is comforted after the death of his mother.